Care Mandia, which is a 15-bedded psychiatry institute with a 24/7 emergency facilities. Congratulations, Dr. Hamid. And for all of you, Dr. Hamid has graduated from Assam University, Silchar in 2002, completed his post-graduation from Dibrugarh in 2006, and he works in the health services government of Assam. And he has keen interest in his hosting conferences, hosts the annual conference of the IPS Assam State Branch. We welcome you, Dr. Hamid. Over to you with your presentation.
Thank you, sir. My special thanks to Pfizer team for giving me the opportunity to present a case in this prestigious event. This case is a part of Mindcare digital case record. That depression with anxiety features may be less likely to respond to antidepressant treatment compared to those without comorbid anxiety. So this is the main theme of this presentation. So here in this case study, we witness the impending disaster arising out of major depressive disorder with severe anxiety in a metric examinee, 10th examinee, who was a good student earlier and was not responding to SSRIs elsewhere before coming to us. And we treated the patient with desvenlafaxine and assisted the patient securing 73.5% mark with a 3-month pre-exam treatment period. So we tried to retrospect many different angles of this illness condition and learn other aspects which were consistent with many different studies conducted elsewhere. So the demographic detail was, the study was done at Mindcare Neuropsychiatry Research Center. A 15 years old female. She was about to appear her matriculation. Middle class Assamese speaking rural background. Religion was Islam and she was a right-handed individual. So this is the screenshot, the exact screenshot of our software. In the SIV complex you can see that there was a 10-month history. She had a headache, felt nervous, worried to anything, low mood, anhedonia, felt sleepy and lethargic. In history of present illness, brought with the 10-month history, which was insidious in onset and consisted of headache, which was dilating and almost continuous, and no precipitating factors, and not associated with vomiting. She also felt nervous with every day-to-day activities. She used to feel apprehensive, lethargic and sleepy, always felt low and bad, lost her interest in previously felt pleasurable activities. She had difficulty in studying, failing to memorize and diminished concentration. The patient had no past history and she had a positive family history for depression in her cousin. She had a stage of coping with advanced mathematics subject, that was an optional subject. She was actually imposed by her parents, that subject, and she was with stress of board exam and parental over expectation. She had no history of substance abuse, no history of psychosis, no history of seizure, delirium, thyroid dysfunction, no history of menstrual irregularities. In personal history, no history of maternal illness at the time of gestation, no history of birth trauma. She had normal toilet training, no neurotic traits, normal motor and cognitive developments. She adjusted in school very well and no psychosexual issues suggested. So this is her past treatment history. Actually, she was being treated elsewhere with escitalopram, maximum up to 10 mg. She was also getting atizolam 0.25 mg. She was also tried with propranolol, TR40 and 20 mg. She was also getting Ayurvedic proprietary combination, omega-3 fatty acid serum, multivitamins, etc. So actually, in this image, few parts have been kept intentionally blurred to conceal the identity of the patient. In the general examination, everything was normal, but she had a mild terror, not the mental status examination. Rapport was well established and was maintained better, and attention was well aroused. In general appearance and behavior, the patient was averagely groomed and eye contact was appropriate with retarded psychomotor activity. Her speech was dull, her mood was depressed. In effect, the range was constricted, intensity was severe, it was appropriate and stable. In thought, she was preoccupied with illness condition and upcoming exam and mostly depressive in content. She had no perceptual disturbances, her judgment was intact, cognitive function, short-term and long-term memory was fine. She had insight of grade 4. So in psychological evaluation data, what we had of this patient, in patient health questionnaire, the patient seemed to be occupied and paid no proper attention. In Hamilton Depression Rating scale, she was scoring 20. In Hamilton Anxiety, she was scoring 35. And in thematic perception field, her incapability of the self, self-doubt, inner conflicts, worried for external conflicts. She used to feel void within. And emotional conflicts were worried, miserable, sadness, vulnerable, frustrated. All these things were revealed in the thematic perception. So the overall psychological impression was she was preoccupied and had severe depression and severe anxiety symptoms with intrusive thought, but no psychotic symptoms. So this is her laboratory data, and here we got her hemoglobin 10.3 and rest of the parameter, her hemocritic parameter was normal, her thyroid function and other renal function was normal, liver function was normal. This is the screenshot of how how we used to keep the data in file manager. We can see the CT scan was done, CT scan was normal. And now I'm coming to the diagnosis. Though the system of this multi-axis system is abandoned, and in our clinical practice we are still using this multi-axis system for our convenience. So in axis 1 she had major depressive disorder with severe anxiety. In axis 2 she had no diagnosis, and in axis 3 she had mild anemia. In axis 4 she had stress of academics. In axis 5, that is the global assessment of functioning, 50 to 60% moderate to severe anxiety. So this is about the progress report. So firstly, we actually tried with clobazam, propranolol 10 mg TDS and paroxetine, psychological counseling, family counseling and all, and for 2 weeks. So in the first review, after 2 weeks, the patient was not responding, and time was very urgent as she required to get improvement out of her condition. So we added desvenlafaxine 50 mg for and advised her to review after 1 month. In her next follow-up, actually she could not come. It was a proxy as she was appearing in her selection test. So what the attendants revealed to us is that her mood was improved, anxiety subsided, and she was appearing exam very confidently. And then we just continued clobazam, propranolol and desvenlafaxine. And third review onwards, she is getting desvenlafaxine 50 mg. And finally, her result of matriculation examination came, and she was very much happy. Though the parental expectation was very much high that she will be achieving some top herself with the top 10, but she was able to secure 73.5% in matriculation, and she was satisfied with that. And the further reviews are continued. She is still with us. She is now ACES second year. She is preparing for her ACES second year science examination, and she is expecting a very good result. And she is getting desvenlafaxine 50 mg at bedtime. And right at the currently her hematological biochemical evaluation was followed up, and everything was normal. So here in this case, what we have seen is that, and that is consistent with some studies conducted elsewhere, that is that depression with anxiety is associated with greater incidence of suicidal ideation, history of suicide attempt, and a greater number of previous depressive episodes, and a longer history of illness after adjusting of severe depression. Actually, this study and these data alerted us. Actually, we were very much meticulous with her, so as to, and that's why we are still continuing the medication till she completes her higher secondary examination. And another few studies, they have concluded that depression with anxiety is defined as primary diagnosis of major depressive disorder with significant symptoms of anxiety. So here in this case, what we can see is that this complex mechanism of depression and anxiety. So this case is a typical case of depression, anxious depression, what we can say, the anxious depression. And so finally we can come to a conclusion that the anxious depression results from involvement of multiple projections of serotonergic and noradrenergic system, and hence these type of cases responds with smarter antidepressants like SNRIs and not SSRI. So in the conclusion, we can say that depression with anxiety is associated with more severe depressive symptoms at baseline. And patients with major depressive disorder often report that cognitive difficulties such as memory problems, poor concentration, interfere with their work function. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Hamid. Thank you so much. One simple question to you, Dr. Junaid and Dr. Hamid, both of you. One by one, first Dr. Junaid, would the subgroup of patients, depressive patients specifically, the subgroup where you would prefer using desvenlafaxine or an SNRI?
Usually middle class females with somatic symptoms. Actually, the place I work, I do my private practice is a hospital where most of the domains are covered, most of the facilities are available and most of the doctors are available. And one of them is a rheumatologist. He often refers patients to me and they are usually having those somatic symptoms. And with my own experience and the way I use medicines, I feel desvenlafaxine does wonders in his middle age group and those elderly females.
Elderly with more somatic complaints.
More of somatic complaints. Yes.
Dr. Hamid, your take on this.
Yes, sir. I agree with Dr. Junaid, but I want to add few more things. Actually, in addition to the group of patients what Dr. Junaid has told, I will recommend this desvenlafaxine where most of the symptoms are impaired attention, problems in concentrating, deficiencies in working memory, slowness in information processing, depressed mood, fatigue, psychomotor retardation, all those conditions. Also, it was very good. And then the anxious depression, that what we have seen in this case. Though there is no such dependable clinical studies comparing supremacy of desvenlafaxine over escitalopram, but I think in these conditions, desvenlafaxine is at least we should give a first try.
So from your point of view, it is one, the norepinephrine involvement where you see more of norepinephrine
Exactly, sir.
involvement, and two is the anxiety, which is
Exactly, sir. That's what I am.
A few questions for Dr. Hamid.
Yes, sir.
There's a doctor from Telangana and one from Chhattisgarh, Dr. Ramesh.
Yes, sir.
One, he wants to know about, he was very impressed by the software screenshots that you had sent.
Okay, sir.
So they wanted to know about the software.
Actually,
just 2 lines on that.
Okay, actually this software I have been using from 2011 actually. I have made it customized for me. There are lots of software in the market, and I would like to share one more thing. Actually, this is not related to the question, but I want to reveal. Is that nowadays actually telepsychiatry is promoted just like anything is being promoted. But what I feel is that the backbone of the telepsychiatry is an EMR software. If we have the EMR software, then we can do the telepsychiatry more safely and effectively. And since the lockdown, actually what I am doing right now is that I have been attending my patient from my living room to the hospital. Even I am giving my indoor rounds over videos, because everything is controlled by the software. I like this question, and I like to inspire the young generation of psychiatrists. They should start using the digital patient data.
Thank you, Dr. Hamid, for this. And I'm sure many young people will get inspired from you, and they even get in touch with you. Quick questions for your case. There is this Dr. Benigal. He wants to ask that this 15-year-old girl.
Yes, sir.
How long would you like to continue her on medication? Is one.
Okay.
And two, since her Hamilton and the anxiety scores were high, I believe 20 was her Hamilton depression rating scale and 35 was the anxiety. So has she shown a response, that is 50% reduction in these scores, or is she under remission that she has less than 7 and 10 on the Hamilton scales?
Okay, sir. Actually, sir, basically we are working in a very commercial environment. and we had not repeated the scales thereafter. So initially, because these things are costly affairs, and so if I go to answer to how long I'll be continuing the medication, I'm telling. The patient is appearing for her higher secondary examination. This is in the next academic session. So we have planned not to do anything till she completes the HS examination and gets admitted into some good graduation courses, and then we will we'll give a try of discontinuation. And we have decided this condition after seeing the studies that I have already included in my slides. This and the fate of the anxious depression, and these are very repetitive and very crippling, and also induces suicidal thoughts and all. So we are planning to taper down after she gets into graduation course.
Okay. You start with 50 milligram desvenlafaxine, move up to 100. How much is the maximum dose that you ever use in a patient?
If I need to go beyond 100, then I used to go for the what Dr. Stephen Strauss says California rocket fuel. I just admit it.
Anybody wants to come in? I'm just seeing if there are any more questions, then I'll get back to you. Dr. Junaid, any last minute comments from you? Specific?
It was really nice to interact over here. It was a lovely meeting, Shyam sir and Rajat Hamid sir. It was really, I feel really honored to be here and on this platform and discussing and talking with great psychiatrists.
Dr. Ahmed, you like to add?
First of all, sir, I want to thank you, Pfizer, for giving us the opportunity to interact with such great psychiatrists of all over India. Thank you everyone to all the viewers who are viewing this webcast. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Ahmed. I'd like to add that please in these 90 minutes of discussion, the things that we covered is yes, from the importance of having functional recovery in depression, to the basic theories of depression, to the two major case scenarios where we find the SNRI, specifically desvenlafaxine, to be effective, that we've concluded is one is when you have a lot of somatic symptoms, and two when you have a high level of anxiety. We've seen the safety profile both to the elderly population as well as the young adolescent population. So the take home for us today, I believe in these 90 minutes remains these 3 or 4 issues. And I thank you all and thank you the Pfizer team for arranging all these things during these COVID times, bringing us all. There are approximately 100 audience who attended this program. Thanks to all of them for coming and join this program and ask very relevant questions about the clinical experience. And Dr. Kadurian, this is my promise. Next time once we connect, we will have audience from North and East, from South and West End.